we have an existing wind farm of 30 megawatts, where even before the energy agreement, we were in negotiations for about 40 megawatts more of wind on that island. So can you imagine that with a total of 70 megawatts of wind with 10, 20 megawatts of solar on that island? And again, Maui has a system peak of about 200 megawatts. Overnight, the minimum load on that island goes down to roughly about 70 to 80 megawatts. So you can see that we are challenged with continuing to pour more and more of these resources onto these islands. And so we're not saying that we can't get it done, but what we are saying is that we need to work, especially with the R&D folks, the IEEEs, the Electric Power Research Institute, to really make sure that we can actually bring these power resources onto these grids and actually have them able to provide power to us. We don't want to waste anybody's time by coming to us here in Hawaii, signing a contract, and then having the utilities shut them down overnight or even during the daytime because we just cannot take their power. Nobody wants to see that happen. That's just a waste of resources. What are some of the things we're working on? We are heavily focused on the technical integration question. We are very, very committed to gathering much more precise solar installation data at multiple locations across the islands. It used to be that the best data that we had was about 15-minute average data. So we realized that we need to get that down to at least a second-by-second time frame. And when you consider second-by-second data at multiple locations across the islands, that is a lot of data. And over the last year, we've been putting in monitoring stations. We recently, with the Sacramento Municipal Utilities District, SMUD, we recently were selected for funding. I believe it was from the California Energy Commission to conduct further data gathering and also modeling, eventually modeling of high penetration PV resources on our grid. So that's just an example of some of the things that we're doing. We are very serious about exploring the use of energy storage devices, whether it's at the circuit by circuit level, as well as higher transmission level resources. What we're trying to do is understand what those tools can do for us. We are not willing to, at this stage, say that energy storage is the save-all and it needs to be rolled out completely across the state. There are many different types of storage options, storage devices, different applications, and we want to make sure that we understand what these different tools can do and what the value stream is before we make sweeping policy commitments. But what that does mean, though, is that working with partners such as the state, who is going to be providing some funding for battery storage projects, one on Maui and one on the Big Island, is that we will actually be able to see what these tools can do for us. I think I'll just close because I know we want some time for the panel discussion. Our need is heavily on the R&D side. So that would probably be the call to action that I see for especially the folks in the IEEE. At HECO, we have quite a few of our electrical engineers who are members of IEEE. I know some of them have participated in various review committees as standards have been developed. Most of the focus in the past has been on just running our electric grid, protection schemes, those types of focuses. Well, what we are doing internally at HECO is putting many more resources towards the renewable integration question. That is really going to be the only way that we see that we can aggressively break through and implement the HCEI commitments. We are not wed to our fossil fuel plants. We are not even wed to power plants per se. We want to make sure, though, that we ultimately, at the end of the day, have a renewable system that's safe and reliable. So, thank you.